and welcome for all of you who are tuned in. We would like to wish you a happy New Year's here from TMH. As we move on, we're here to present you our daily English news. Starting with our headlines for today, the Tigray government is ready to participate in a robust peace process under the auspices of the AU. AU extends Obasanjo's mission as its special envoy for the Horn of Africa, and Ethiopia marks the new year under a cloud of conflict and inflation as it continues. Moving on to our main updates for today, the government of Tigray says it is prepared to participate in a robust peace process under the auspices of the African Union. The government of Tigray, in a statement it issued yesterday, also expressed its readiness to abide by an immediate and mutual agreed cessation of hostilities. The government of Tigray added that it expects a credible AU-led peace process, which will include mutually acceptable mediators, international observers who will help the parties build mutual trust, instill confidence in the peace process, and finally support and oversee the implementation of commitments, as well as the international experts provide necessary guidance and advice on the integrity of said peace process. We are convinced that only through peaceful dialogue can we achieve a lasting solution through this tragic conflict, as the statement stressed. And again, according to the statement, the next step following a cessation of hostilities will be to finalize a comprehensive negotiated ceasefire and an all-inclusive political dialogue to resolve issues underlining the current conflict. The government of Tigray announced that it has set up a negotiation team to be deployed without delay. It also added that the team, which includes Getachew Reda, General Tigray Gebretinsae, has already been given the mandate to represent the government of Tigray in future negotiations as well. The government of Tigray expressed its solemn desire to see Ethiopians in general and the people of Tigray specifically and no longer hear the sound of gunfire, the blockade of essential services, and humanitarian aid, as well as associated pain and suffering that comes along with all of this. In spirit of our new year and a fresh start, let us end the fighting, give peace a chance, and start on the path towards peace and prosperity, as the statement concluded. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken commended the government of Tigray's statement that is ready to end the fighting and seek to resolve outstanding issues through dialogue. He said international partners stand ready to support this process. He added that Eritrea and others should also cease fueling the conflict any further. High Representative of the European Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Josep Borrell, urged all actors to seize this opportunity. He expressed the EU's readiness to support the process, and the High Representative of the EU for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy Vice President of European Commission also called on the parties to seize this opportunity as well for peace and to take steps to end the violence definitively and opt for dialogue as well. Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mahamat, particularly commended the regional government of Tigray for its readiness to engage in negotiations in line with a similar call made by the federal government of Ethiopia as well. The chairperson urged both parties to urgently work towards an immediate ceasefire, engage in direct talks in an AU-led process that is inclusive of mutually agreed international partners. Meanwhile, the White House has welcomed Tigray's government's openness to ceasefire in Ethiopia, as the White House said today, Monday, that it welcomes a statement by forces in northern Ethiopia's Tigray region that they would accept an African Union-led peace process as well. AU extends Obasanjo's missions as its special envoy for the Horn of Africa. The African Union said on Saturday that it has extended the mandate of the Horn of Africa's envoy Olusegun Obasanjo, who was leading a renewed push for peace in Ethiopia after the resurgence of fighting continued. The move comes despite his loss of credibility as mediator in the eyes of the government of Tigray due to his proximity to the Ethiopian leader. I reiterate my full confidence in him and encourage his continued engagement with both parties and international actors to work towards peace and reconciliation within Ethiopia and the region, as AU Chief Musa Faki Mahamat said on Twitter after meeting with Obasanjo. Frantic diplomatic efforts are underway to find a peaceful resolution to the conflict after the resumptions of combat in northern Ethiopia last month shattered a truce that took place back in March. Ethiopia marks this new year under a conflict and cloud as inflation surges as well. Renewed conflict in the northern region, a crippling drought, and stubbornly high inflation. Ethiopia rang in their new year on Sunday with little to nothing to celebrate. At livestock market in the capital of Addis Ababa, traders and visitors alike bemoan the various crises confronting Africa's second most populous nation. As you can see now, everything is expensive. If there was peace, it wouldn't be like this, said a trader who goes by the name of Ndasho Danako, who told AFP on Saturday, which was the eve of the New Year holiday. The World Bank, in a gloomy report on Ethiopian published on the 8th of September, reported that the heightened level of conflict and fragility in Ethiopia is of great concern and should be of great concern for the entirety of the world. The report indicated that multiple conflicts combined with historic drought and other shocks have severely impacted millions of Ethiopians, jeopardizing the economic and social development progress as the country has achieved in most recent years. The UN's emergency response, OSHA, earlier this month described the humanitarian situation in Ethiopia as dire, with 20 million people nationwide in need of assistance immediately because of conflict as well as climate shocks that has prolonged drought and seasonal floods in general. Commander of Tigray Defense Forces said the purpose of Tigray's recent counteroffensive was to force the Abiy Ahmed regime to come to the negotiations table finally. General Taddasa Warada made the remark in a press conference regarding Tigray Defense Forces' recent counteroffensive that started as a response to the massive offensive launched by the Ethiopian army as well as its allies. Let's take a listen.
ውጊያ መከላከልና ጸረ ማጥቃት ዓላማ ሰላምን ከማምጣት የራቀ እንዳይሆን እና በተቻለ መጠን መንግስትን አስገድዶ ብቸኛው አማራጭ የሰላም መሆኑ ብቸኛው አማራጭ የዚህን ችግር የዚህም የሰብአዊ መብት ጥያቄዎች ቁጥር አንድ ለዚህን መልቀቅ መሆኑ ካለምንም ምክንያት ኃላፊነት በጎደለው መንገድ የመንግስት ሳይሆን የመንግስት ኃላፊነት ሙሉ የጎደለው ስራ እየተሰራ ያለው ይሄ ህዝብን ማፍራብ ማስጨነቅ ነው እሱ እንዲያቆም እና ይሄኛው ህዝብ ለማንኛውም ህዝብ እንትን መብቶቹ እንዲያገኝ የመኖር መብት እንዲረጋገጥ
That concludes our news for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.